The silence of the songbird. The house in Las Vegas was too quiet. For Liza Likens, silence was a foreign language. This was a woman whose life had been a symphony of high-stakes glamour and rock-and-roll royalty. As a backup vocalist for Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac, she had lived in the golden era of Nashville and Los Angeles. She remembered the weight of $5,000 in cash that Christine McVie had once pressed into her palm for good luck. She had shared a home with Stevie for a decade. She was a woman who knew what it felt like to be center stage. But when her husband, Greg, passed away, the music stopped. For 23 years, they had been the happiest couple you ever saw. When he died, Liza retreated into a tomb of grief. Her friends begged her to stop isolating, to reach out, to find a spark of life again. Desperate to feel a connection, any connection, Liza did the one thing that would lead to her undoing. She went on Facebook and changed her status to widow. In the shadows of the internet, the predators were watching. And one of them was about to play the performance of a lifetime. The shadow in the mirror. His name was Donald. When his friend request popped up, Liza gasped. He didn't just look like a movie star. He looked like Greg. He had the same German features, the same kind eyes, the same dignified air. He claimed to be a widower of 8 years. A successful engineer working a high-stakes mining job in a foreign land. He didn't move fast. He moved with the precision of a seasoned predator. He was the old-fashioned gentleman, showering her with praise. He told her she was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. He obsessed over her eyes. Were they real? Could any human truly possess that shade of blue? For a woman who had spent 2 years in the dark, Donald was a blinding light. But every light casts a shadow. I need to buy Wi-Fi time, he told her one night. It's the only way we can keep talking. It was only $1,000. To a woman who had inherited a fortune, it was a pittance to keep the dream alive. She sent it. She didn't know she had just tasted the hook. The red safe and the $700 million mirage. The hook was set, and now came the real. Donald sent her a photo that looked like a fever dream. A heavy, red industrial safe. Inside, stacked like cordwood, were 24-karat gold bars. Beside them, thick bundles of American $100 bills. He told her this was his payment for the mining contract. It was worth $700 million. I'm sending it to you, Liza, he whispered over the phone. It's our future. Keep it safe at your house. Then the logistics began. An email arrived from Frontline Logistics. They offered 3 tiers of delivery. The fastest, the gold standard, cost $145,000. Liza felt a rush of adrenaline she hadn't felt since being on tour. It was an investment, she told herself. A $145,000 key to a $700 million door. She paid it. But the safe never arrived. Instead, the James Bond movie began. The parcel was seized in Greece, then stuck in Turkey, then held in Spain. Each time a new crisis emerged. Each crisis had a price tag. The logistics company claimed they needed to hire a man to undergo plastic surgery to look like Donald so he could bypass customs and claim the gold. The cost: $200,000. Liza was no longer just a victim. She was a gambler at a high-stakes table in the middle of a desert. If she stopped now, she lost everything she'd already sent. She kept going, she might just win the jackpot. She sent the money. The ultimate sacrifice. The spiral deepened until it hit the bedrock of her life. Donald claimed he had finally landed in Las Vegas to claim the safe, only to be snatched by authorities and extradited to a Spanish prison in a city called Elche. He called her from a smuggled phone, his voice desperate. I need bail, Liza. $250,000. Or I'll rot here. Liza was out of cash. She had already burned through $750,000 of the inheritance Greg had left her to live on. She looked at the house Greg had built for her, their sanctuary. On a Thursday, she made the unthinkable choice. She sold the house for a cash profit of $300,000. By Wednesday, she was homeless, living in the Trump Hotel, watching her bank account drain into the void to save a man she had never actually met. The money vanished. Donald vanished. The $700 million safe was a ghost. The digital autopsy. When the team from Social Catfish stepped in, the suspense shifted from the romance to the manhunt. They didn't just look at photos. They performed a digital autopsy on Liza's life. They followed the money into the blockchain, the permanent record of crypto crimes. They watched as her life savings were broken into fragments, layered through dozens of digital wallets to confuse the FBI. Then came the reveal. The man in the photos wasn't Donald. He was Rojo, a German life coach and meditation expert. He was real, but he was a ghost in this story. His identity had been stolen to provide a handsome face for a monster. The investigators tracked the logistics emails. They weren't from a shipping company. They were spoofed accounts created by the same person pretending to be Donald. The castle he owned in Germany. A random address on a street with no records. The private helicopter. Stock footage. The final trace didn't lead to a Spanish prison or a German mansion. It led to a buzzing terminal in Lagos, Nigeria. The resurrection. Liza sat in a Vegas hotel room, the weight of a $1.5 million loss pressing down on her. She had been mentally living in a world of gold bars and secret agents, only to wake up in a reality where her electricity was being turned off. "I feel like I've dishonored him," she sobbed, thinking of Greg. But the story didn't end in defeat. The investigators didn't just give her sympathy. They gave her a weapon. They had tracked the money to exchanges, the crypto banks like Binance and Coinbase. Because these exchanges operate in the US, they have names. They have identities. They have the KYC, know your customer data of the person who withdrew Liza's cash. The team kicked down doors that the FBI wouldn't even look at. They connected with the EFCC in Nigeria. For the first time in 20 months, the hunter became the hunted. Liza Likens stood up, her backup singer's posture returning. She had lost the house, the money, and the husband who never was. But she still had the one thing the scammers couldn't steal, her voice. "I'm going back to my music," she said, her eyes flashing with a spark of the legend she once was. "I'm not going sideways anymore. Up is the answer." The music was starting again. And this time Liza was the lead.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe my channel.